What is your weight loss identity? We're going to talk about this morning on my morning reflection here. What I do during this time. This is my daily check-in. My name's Chris, and I am someone who's struggled with obesity for about 2 decades. I'm about 2 months into my journey with Mounjaro. I wasn't initially making a lot of progress, so I decided about a week ago to add AI to my weight loss program as my coach and mentor in this process. So, what I'm sharing now each morning is my experience with Mounjaro. I'm currently on a 5 milligram dose, and then the reflections I have with my Chat GPT AI mentor. And when we talked last night, we really got into a discussion about identity and what is my weight loss identity. And I think that's important because there's two ways to approach weight loss, or at least two ways. I'm going to talk about two fundamentally different ways. One is I've been thinking about, I would like to weigh 220 pounds. I'm currently 246.7 pounds as of this morning. I want to weigh 220 pounds by January 1st, 2026. So instead of making a New Year's resolution on New Year's Day, I'm making a resolution for New Year's Day of where I want to be by New Year's. So I'm doing that. But in the past, I can get obsessed with a number and what are a bunch of radical temporary changes I can make in order to get to that number, get thinner, and then go back to my old way of eating. I'm doing it differently this time. What I'm doing is I'm saying, long term, I want to get down to around 190, 185. But my shorter term goal that I'm kind of looking at is where I want to be on January 1st. That's also significant because I'll be turning 60 around that time as well. So I'd love to go into my 60s at the healthiest weight I've been in a long time. But more fundamentally than that, and a longer term perspective, a permanent perspective, is I want a fundamental change in my identity. I don't want to be a person who eats junk food and doesn't take care of himself and emotionally overeats, but then just kind of repress that for 6 months to get down to 220 pounds and then go back to the old way of doing things. That's just really a tragic and futile way to live. What I'm trying to do is change my fundamental idea about myself, my fundamental identity. I am a person who takes care of himself. I am a person who eats the right amount of the right foods. I'm a person who gets out as I'm active and healthy and moving and stimulating my body to growth. I'm a person who deals with my emotions in a healthy way rather than, covering them over with pizza and ice cream. Excuse me. So I'm a person who wants to be my physically best, even though I'm turning 60. At home, I have a 4-year-old, 6-year-old, and 8-year-old. So I want to be at my best for my young children. I want to play soccer with them. I want to run around in the yard with them. I want to swim in the lake with them. And in order to keep doing that, I've got to be my best. So I was talking to ChatGPT about this. So what is your weight loss identity? I want you to think about that too. Think about it, name it, become aware of what is my weight loss identity. Here's some examples that ChatGPT gave me of a goal versus identity mindset. A goal mindset would be, I want to weigh 220 by January 1st, a finite, measurable, but also brittle. You either hit it or miss it. Identity mindset. I want to be a person who cares for his body, optimizes his well-being. Infinite, it transcends a single milestone and carries forward long after January 1st. So, and I was sharing, I had kind of the phrase I brought to our discussion was, once you establish a goal, make it secondary. And the weight becomes a byproduct of living as the person you decided to be. So then it says how this plays out for you. Sleep. Not just I need 7 hours, but I'm a man who honors recovery. Food. Not just I'll eat 1,900 calories, but I'm someone who eats the right amount of the right foods for long-term vitality. I love that word, vitality. Movement. Not just I need 10,000 steps, but I'm a person who chooses activity because it enriches my life. So caring for my body is my infinite game. And that's another concept I'm exploring in life and just in my kind of philosophy of living. I'll talk about that more, infinite games versus finite games. But that's the fundamental shift in identity that I'm trying to bring to this process to make this a permanent, lifelong shift. And not something I'm just grimacing and doing by willpower, but a fundamental change. And where Manjaro kicks in, it gives me space to make these decisions instead of just being overwhelmed by food noise and cravings and feelings of hunger. Manjaro's bringing that down. It's not eliminating them, but it brings it down to a level where I'm able to start making choices that I could not consistently make off of Manjaro. Let's look at the numbers real quick. So I weighed in at 246.7. My all-time high weight was 280 pounds. When I started on Manjaro, I was 255 pounds. Let's see, calories yesterday, 2,020. So that was a little high. That's because I didn't carefully plan my dinner. My wife made a cod, but it was covered with a batter, and then some potatoes, but they were fried. So those had a lot more carbs and oil in it. So I want to switch to just, potatoes made without oil. Switch to cod that's, baked or something like that, because that'll instantly bring those calories into line for that meal. I wasn't too far off, 120 calories high, but I want to keep it under 1,900. That's a firm line for me. And then last night I got 7 hours of sleep, which is an improvement. That's something important. ChatGPT told me sleep is a dashboard warning light. And that is so true. If I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm overwhelmed and trying to do more than I'm able to in a day. I need to be aware of that. Or I'm wasting time scrolling social media or something along that line. I need to be aware of that and put that away to get enough sleep. Or I'm stressed and worried and I'm in bed, but I can't sleep because things are on my mind. So that sleep really is a red light that tells me if I'm not getting 7 hours, something is wrong in my life that needs to be reorganized so I can get that sleep. All right, I think that is all I've got for today. Thank you for being here. Share in the comments your thoughts on your weight loss identity, what your thoughts are on that. If you have any ideas on sleep, I would love to hear that too, because I'm really bringing some focus to that. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.